Hey everyone, welcome back to Part Out. I'm Nate, and today we are going to talk about the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500s. But more specifically, we want to talk about the all-new Trail Boss Edition that Chevy just came out with. Now what the Trail Boss Edition is it's actually a Chevy with a 2-inch spacer lift on it, where you get painted red tow hooks and you get some knobby tires on it, as well as the extra badging stickers on the front. Not to mention, you also get this different painted fascia as far as the front end of the truck goes. It really makes the truck look a lot more aggressive. Now, from the factory, you're getting a fully capable, ready to go off-road rig with the Z71 package. But what if I told you you could get something even more capable about that? So over here, we have what's called the RST Chevy Silverado, which is their more base version of the Silverado package. However, we upfitted it with a BDS 6-inch coilover conversion system that we feel is going to absolutely turn this thing into an off-road monster, especially with some Mickey Thompson MTZ tires. So what's new with the 2019 Chevy Silverado? Well, first off, the entire design of the truck is completely different from the ground up. The actual truck is shaved off 450 pounds from the previous generation, and that's thanks to the all-new aluminum body panels that they put on the truck. Now, they didn't use aluminum everywhere. They used steel where it counts most, and that's in the bed, where they actually call the bed codenamed Durabed. And that's because it has a high-grade steel that will allow you to throw your toolboxes and everything back there just fine. Now, under the hood, we have a 5.3-liter V8 engine cranking out 355 horsepower, 383 foot-pounds of torque. Now, those numbers may sound familiar to you because this engine is actually carried over from the previous generation Silverados, which is still a good thing. It's still a great engine. People love it a lot, so they might as well keep it going. But what's different for this year is that they offer a dynamic fuel management system that actually allows the engine to shut off cylinders when you don't need to use them, so that way you're saving a little more on gas. Coming around to the rear of the Chevy, we have the Trail Boss sticker to help differentiate this truck if you didn't realize it was a Trail Boss. And we have the bed. Now, the bed is actually different this year because there's no actual handle. It's just a button that you hit and it opens automatically. Now, the bed is actually a little bit bigger than the previous generation Silverados, and that's because it's got more cargo room thanks to the new wheel well designs that they put on there. So it's a little bit wider, you can fit more stuff in there. Not to mention, you actually have lights in there to light up the bed, and you have up to 12 tow hooks that you can strap things down with. And also the rear bumper is a little bit different too. They actually took that rear step that we actually were utilizing quite a bit on the previous generations, and they actually made it deeper, and then they also managed to get the lane sensors as well as for the trucks with the lane departure option. They actually have that sensor tucked right up in there, so it's up out of sight and out of mind kind of thing, so you're not going to damage it. Now, the Trail Boss Edition Silverado starts out at around $47,000 to $47,500 from the dealership, and then you can get options and stuff and get your price tag growing as much as you really want it to grow. But keeping that price tag in mind at about $47,000 to $57,000, I want to bring you guys over here to check out this truck. Now, this is the RST version of the Silverados. This truck is a little more base. You don't have the leather seats in here, but that's up to you. That's your preference. You can get the LTZ package and you can go that route too, get the leather seating. But this truck starts out at around $40,000 to $42,000 from the dealership. And what we have here is a BDS 6-inch coilover conversion system hooked up on this truck, as well as some 37-inch Mickey Thompson MTZ tires. That's quite a bit to handle. And not to mention, we're doing all this for either at the same cost, if not less, than this Trail Boss. Now, I want to mention something here real quick, and that's because a lot of you are thinking, well, it's a lifted truck, you're going to void your warranty with it. That's not the case here with the BDS suspension lift system, because they have the 560 plus protection plan on all their lift kits if you're the original purchaser and you have it installed at a certified BDS installer. Basically what that means is that if there is any sort of issue with your truck with the powertrain or anything like that that's under your normal GM warranty, and if it's at the fault of the suspension system that's causing the problem, BDS will step in and make sure your issues are corrected, no questions asked. Speaking of no questions asked, they also have their no fine print warranty on their parts, so all the non-wearable parts, if you go out on the trail and you beat this thing up, you bend a control arm, you bend a cross member or something, you just damage something, BDS wants to hear about how you did it. They don't really care. They want to hear your stories. So you can give BDS Suspension a call. They'll be happy to replace those parts for you, no questions asked. If you want to learn more about the BDS Suspension 560 Plus program that protects your truck for its warranty, you can go check out 560plus.com and they have all the information right there, or you can contact your local BDS distributor and they'd be happy to walk you through it as well. So up front, we have these black tow hooks, and they're different from the Trail Boss because they're black and the Trail Boss gives you red ones. Now, if you really want red tow hooks, I'm sure you can go find some red spray paint, make it whatever color you want. Red spray paint and make them whatever color you want. Your options with red spray paint are red. Now up front we have this solid skid plate that protects the front approach angle of the truck, and then behind that we have these high clearance cross members that, as far as on the market goes, they are the highest clearing cross members that you can get for a lift system for the Chevy Silverados. Behind that you actually have more skid plates that protect the differential as well as other components of the front driveline. And then when you get back there, you have a secondary cross member, and it all works together. When I say it all works together, you actually have all these different sort of drop brackets and everything that all tie together into the frame in multiple locations to make sure you have one solid ride as far as your vehicle going down the road. So you don't have any sort of driveline vibrations or anything. Everything is taken into account with a BDS lift system. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a coilover conversion system on this Silverado, and it's utilizing the Fox coilovers using DSC technology, and that's dual speed compression, which allows you to adjust the damping on the shocks. So you can set it at a higher setting for on-road use, or you can bring it all the way down low and have a softer ride and allow you to go off-road and be able to soak up those bumps a lot easier. Tire size is a kind of a big deal for an off-road vehicle, and with this RST version of the Silverado, we're able to shove these 37-inch Mickey Thompson ATZ tires. They look pretty good on this truck. Not to mention we've got some awesome looking black rhino, hard alloy wheels on here that just really finish out the look of this truck. That's one of the nice things about when you're customizing your own truck. You can choose whatever style wheel you want, and you can choose the tires that you want as well. Now, I'm not saying the Trail Boss looks bad by any means. It's a gorgeous looking truck with those shadow black wheels and the Duratrack tires. I mean, everything looks good on that truck for what it is. But you're comparing having a 2-inch spacer lift with extended shocks to a full-blown BDS coilover conversion system on 37-inch tires. Now, some of you are thinking maybe there's a little bit more to the Trail Boss than meets the eye. And to be honest, there actually really isn't. Both the RST model and this Trail Boss are equipped with a Z71 package, which gives you that low-range single-speed transfer case, auto-locking rear differential, and some extra skid plates underneath. And that's basically the extent of the Z71 package for the Trail Boss and the RST, as well as the other Silverado models that have the Z71 package. Now, what I was really hoping for when I heard about the Trail Boss coming out was it was going to be like a ZR2 Colorado setup where they had front and rear locking differentials, notched out bumpers, and all the goodies that go in with that for off-road use. Now, Chevy has said or mentioned or hinted at, I don't know which way you want to look at it, that they are looking to potentially make this truck more capable in future models down the road. Big old line of snot coming down my face. It's also interesting to note that with the interior of this truck, it's actually 4 inches longer than the previous generation, which allows for more leg room for the back seats. And then speaking of the back seats, they're very easy to go up and adjust as far as getting in and out for all this stuff. You have rear cargo room underneath the seats, and then new this year are these seat cubbies. It's a pretty neat idea. You can just fit gloves, toe straps, tools, whatever you want, tucked away out of sight, no problem. And then you also have this rear cup holder set up here. And then when we actually look at the roof of this Chevy, we have these indentations that you can fit, like if you're wearing a hard hat on the job site, you can wear that and you'll fit in the truck, no problem. Or if you're one of the people from the Real People commercials from Chevy, where you're wearing those weird funky hats, you'll be able to fit in here too.
It's offensive.
It's a little contrived to me.
You know what? I like it.
So we're behind the wheel of the RST with the BDS 6-inch coilover conversion on it, and we're just off-road, and it's taken everything like it's absolutely nothing. We're coming up here to a really steep, very narrow slope here as far as the hill goes. This truck is so capable. The breakover angle is great on this truck, having that extra 6 inches of lift on this truck, because we came out to a very high breakover angle, and if we were in the Trail Boss, I'm very confident we would have been bottomed out. The truck probably still would have been able to make it over, but it would have been grinding its whole undercarriage over all those frozen rocks, which the truck can handle, but no reason to grind if you don't have to. Now, as far as the redesign for the interior for the new Chevy Silverados, I like it a lot. It's a very good place to be, especially for long road trips. This is a very well laid out vehicle, especially as far as ergonomics go for construction workers. All the dials and knobs on here are rubberized, and they're very large, so if you're wearing gloves and stuff, covered in mud and water and all that, no problems as far as getting grip on them. Down here we have a whole list of switches and buttons, and the way they're laid out is just very easy to get to. You have auxiliary switches that you can put for different accessories. You have auto start stop for fuel efficiency. I personally hate that option, but for whatever reason all the vehicles have them now. You have the auto tailgate drop. Some models you can actually have the auto tailgate raised, so you can actually open and close the tailgate from the inside of the cab. Now here we're going through about a foot of ice water stuff, but like I said, we're on 37-inch Mickey Thompson tires. This truck is really just handling it like it's nothing. Back to the interior though, we've got a pretty similar gauge cluster layout to the previous generation, which I'm a little bit surprised by with the amount of vehicles that are coming out with full digital LCD screens as far as all the reconfigurable things that you can do as far as the gauge cluster goes. I still like it though, just for the simplicity of it. You know that the gauges are going to work. Just a very easy thing to do. A new thing this year is they have a sport mode over here for different setups for how you want your vehicle to ride. And then they also got rid of the turning dial for the four-wheel drive selector. Below that you have all your light options as far as auto lights, brights, all that stuff. You also have a button over here for the bed. So there's an actual light that'll shine from the top of the truck that'll shine down into the bed. All things that are pretty good. You have dual climate control in the truck. We got heated seats. It's pretty well equipped. I feel like I'm riding in luxury even though I'm going off-road, doing some pretty cool things that most of the Jeeps are doing. One thing I find that's a little bit odd with the interior of the truck is the engine start button. So they awkwardly placed it like down and over. So your knee, I feel like, could almost hit it if you hit a hard bump and like turn the engine off. Just a weird quirk for me. I don't know why they put it down there versus somewhere up here where it's easier to see and get to. But we have the coilovers dialed up to a softer setting, but we're still riding over frozen dirt because it's only 16 degrees out there. Yeah, I don't think so. Now this truck is featuring the 5.3 liter V8 with the 355 horsepower. The 383 foot-pounds of torque seems to be doing a pretty good job. We're not doing anything too severe as far as like crawling over rocks or stuff, because I'm not a fan of crawling over icy rocks just for safety concerns and the fact that the truck doesn't belong to me. I don't want to break it. But we're coming up to a bit of a straight patch here, and I kind of want to test to see how these coilovers react to this environment. So here we go. We're going to punch it for a little bit. Oh yeah, this truck's got some power. Woo! All right, so we started getting a little sideways on the ice, but oh yeah, this truck's got it. All right, so let's hop over into the Trail Boss and see how that drives. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the all-new Trail Boss. Oh! And we've already bottomed it out. But we're gonna go ahead and back this thing up. We're gonna go around the hill. So driving the Trail Boss, obviously we're in a better interior. This truck is fully equipped with the leather seats. Everything is heated. Both portions of the seats are heated. We've got the park assist features, auto tailgates, auxiliary plugs in here. So we have actual house outlets, car outlets, USB-C, standard USB. Not to mention we have a full center console in this truck that just kind of completes the look of the truck, gives you more of a command center feeling. The actual truck, as far as the interior is lined with, it has lots of high-end rubbers that are super grippy where you need them. As far as like if you're having a bunch of loose screws, bolts and stuff, you can throw them in there. They'll stay put for the most part. Steering wheel feels pretty much the same. I'm pretty sure all this is about the same as the RST model. Same gauge cluster in this truck, so nothing has changed there. It is what it is. I mean, we're on a Silverado with a 2-inch spacer lift with extended Rancho shocks. We're doing a little bit milder trail than the trail we were just on, but it's doing just fine. There's no issues here. I'm just a little more cautious with it because of the breakover angle. We don't want to damage this truck at all because obviously, again, doesn't belong to us. So all in all though, I do like the way this truck looks. It's definitely a stunning presence with this red in-your-face color scheme they've got going on with the blacked out front grille. I mean, right now we're coming up to a pretty steep angle. There it goes, okay. Yeah, it's just doing it just fine. This is a very great truck to have, especially if you're just doing like field runs or something. You got a farm that you're trying to manage that you have to get through some off-road sections, like some deep mud or something through the cornfields. This is an absolute perfect truck for that. And I'm starting to understand now why there's this vehicle segment that's starting to develop, because you've got the Ram Rebel, you've got obviously now the Trail Boss edition, and now I'm also hearing that Ford is starting to come out with their own mid-range off-road vehicle, because this vehicle doesn't exactly compete with the Raptor by any means, but it's still capable in its own ways. So we're not going to be bombing through the desert with this truck. We're just going to be doing some simple trail rides that this truck can just easily get through that way. So back to the interior of this truck, like I mentioned before in the RST model, everything is very easily laid out, but the infotainment system here, as far as the screen goes, is far better than the previous generation. The actual touch sensitivity to this screen is great. It actually works every single time you touch it. The menus are very easy to navigate, and connecting your phone, because I'm a Bluetooth guy as far as my phones go, and I want to make sure I can connect my phone easily to things, and this is a very hassle-free design as far as how they have the software programmed for it. So all in all, Trail Boss is a very good truck if you're not really looking to do anything seriously crazy with it, but at the same time you can still do some mildly crazy stuff.
So much for mildly crazy.
So that in a nutshell is the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500s. Now we have the Trail Boss here that has the 2-inch spacer lift, extended Rancho shocks, and red painted tow hooks. All in all, the truck looks really good straight from the factory, but that's not how I roll here at Part Out, and that's why I want to choose the cheaper version with the RST Silverado and upfit it with a BDS 6-inch lift, get some 37-inch tires on there, and some off-road wheels that fit the look of the truck better, in my opinion. Now, you can go either option, straight from the factory or heavily modified. The choice is yours. Let us know in the comments what you think you would go with if you want to stick straight factory or modify your truck. Now I want to say a big thanks to Denoyer Chevrolet in Kalamazoo, Michigan for supplying us with the Trail Boss Edition Chevy Silverado. I also want to thank BDS Suspension for supplying us with their RST version of the Silverado with their 6-inch coilover conversion system. And I also want to thank Bundy Hill Off-Road Park for allowing us to come out here and enjoy their park all to ourselves. It's an absolute stunning park to be in. There's a lot of different obstacles, both man-made and natural. You can bring your Jeep out here, four-wheeler, anything that you want to wheel in. They let you have it out here and you guys can have a great time with them. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like us on Facebook. And for right now, we'll see you guys next time.